Hi, hello, welcome to Aprende en Casa. I'm teacher Evelyn and I'm very happy to have you here. To introduce today's lesson, we are going to watch a little capsule. So let's pay attention.
I hope you're having a good and beautiful day. Last week, my little brother told me that he wanted to fight with someone from school as soon as he gets to see him again. So I asked him what was wrong, and he told me that this guy was constantly bullying him on school chats. So I had to explain to my brother that it is far better for humans to live in peace rather than choosing war. In fact, we humans are living the most peaceful time in history. Even though there is violence in almost every single country, we haven't had significant wars in many years, which is a record for our planet. I explained this to my brother and also told him that he had two possible ways to solve this problem. Just like in the Star Wars movies, he could choose to follow the dark side and become a bully himself, trying to fight violence with more violence. Or that he could follow the right track and face his problems with peace and wisdom. So he began asking, as I was telling him this, what's Star Wars? And I was like, what? So I gave him some homework to do. He has a month to find and watch every single Star Wars movie. There are 9, by the way, until he learns a lesson of how it will always be better to live in peace and choose the good side. Good luck, guys, and may the Force be with you always.
Wow, very interesting, right? What would you do if you were in the position of Analu's brother? Become a bully or follow the right track and fix things peacefully and wisdomly? Very nice, right? We live in a society, in a very diverse society, right? And we have to try to live in peace with others, okay? I'm sure you would choose the second option and avoid fighting with others, right? Okay, very good. So let me ask you, do you remember what you covered last lesson? Think about it. Yes, very good. You talk about cultural norms with teacher Jonathan, right? Okay, well, today we're going to have a very nice lesson on writing. Do you like writing? We're going to write about cultural diversity. What do you know about cultural diversity? Go and tell your family to participate with us and don't miss it, okay? Well, to start the lesson, we need the following materials. You're gonna need an eraser, a sharpener, an eraser, a pencil or a pen. You're going to need your English notebook. And I'm going to remind you some important things. Try to work in a quiet place, avoid loud noises, and wash your hands to prevent COVID-19, which is very important to be safe, right? Very good. So let me introduce today's topic. You are going to write a short, simple paragraph, narrative paragraph, okay, based on real or imagined situations or events related to cultural diversity. Interesting, right? We're going to write about cultural diversity, and we're going to include the setting, the plot, and also the characters. But for writing, well, this paragraph, we're going to follow a process, right? Through the process of writing. So we're going to go through these steps. First, the pre-writing. Second, the drafting. Then we have the revising part, and then we have the editing part. So let me ask you some questions. What do you know about writing? Do you know how to write a paragraph? Do you know what a narrative paragraph is? Do you remember the definition of high cultures or pop cultures? What is a subculture? What are some cultural norms that we have to follow in society? Maybe some of you can answer these questions, maybe not, but don't worry, because together we're going to explore and remember this wonderful work of writing about cultural diversity. Okay, so let's check the answers to these questions I ask you. Pay attention. Okay, well, you have the definition here. Can you go back? Thank you. A paragraph is a group of sentences about one topic. It contains a topic sentence, supporting details, and sometimes a concluding sentence. And we have the definition of a narrative paragraph. It tells a story. You are going to narrate a story of different events. Okay, very good. Now, we have the definition of subculture or culture. Let's check it. High culture. Sociologists use the term high culture to describe the pattern of cultural experiences and attitudes that exist in the highest class segments of a society. People often associate high culture with intellectualism, political power, and prestige. In America, high culture also tends to be associated with wealth. Events considered high culture can be expensive and formal, like attending a ballet, seeing a play, or listening to a live symphony performance. Then, the next definition, do you remember this? Okay, very good. Now we have the definition of pop culture. Pop culture refers to the pattern of cultural experiences and attitudes that exist in a conventional society. Popular culture events might include a parade, a baseball game, or the season finale of a television show. Rock and pop music, like pop, in chart for popular, are part of popular culture. Next, we have the definition of subculture. A subculture is just what it sounds like, a smaller cultural group within a larger culture. People of a subculture are part of the larger culture, but also share a specific identity within a smaller group. Ethnic and racial groups share the language, food, and customs of their heritage. Other subcultures are united by shared experiences. Gamers' culture revolves around a dedication to games. Okay, next, please. Cultural norms, very good. So it says the term culture refers to attitudes and patterns of behavior in a given group. Norm refers to attitudes and behaviors that are considered normal, typical, or average within that group. Cultural norms are sets of behaviors and beliefs shared by members of a society or group of people. Cultural norms are typically transmitted by government, educational, and family social systems. Very good job. Okay, I'm sure you remember all this vocabulary, right? About culture, subculture, and then remember that a paragraph is a group of sentences that we are going to put together to develop one main idea. And a narrative paragraph is when we narrate a story or an event, okay? So, very good. Let's imagine you are going to organize, your school is going to organize a round table. And then your teacher, it's about cultural diversity. And then your teacher selected you to represent your group, okay? So your teacher is going to give you a graphic organizer to organize the ideas, the information about cultural diversity, what you have learned during the last lessons, how you learned this information, and also what you would like to do or learn in the future. So let's fill in the following graphic organizer together. Okay, here you can see it. We have diversity and culture, right? Then it says what I have learned in previous classes, how I have learned this, and what I would like to learn in the future. Think about it, guys. Think about it. Very good. Think and choose the appropriate answers. Do you remember what you have learned in previous lessons here in Aprendo en Casa with your teachers? Or before Aprendo en Casa, okay, with your other teachers? Very good. Okay, it's time to check your answers. Here, as you can see, we have what I have learned in previous classes. Well, you have learned about indigenous communities of Costa Rica, high and pop cultures, subcultures, and cultural norms. How I have learned this? Well, watching videos, because you have watched videos, giving oral presentations, creating a brochure, reading short tests. And what I would like to learn in the future? Why people decide to look the way they do. Learn more about people who look different. Okay, well, very good. And there are many other things that maybe you would like to learn in the future, right? So, very good. It's time to start writing. So, let's imagine you are in school and your teacher asks you to collect information to write a simple, short narrative paragraph about your experience in your school field trip we did to this community, indigenous community called in Guatil de Guanacaste. Do you remember that school field trip? Very good. So we're going to remember our trip, and well, I remember it was awesome, right? So this is very excited, very good. So how can we write a narrative paragraph? Well, before writing the paragraph, you are going to need certain elements like vocabulary and sentence frames. So let's check that vocabulary. Very good. Here we have it. Pottery. Pottery is the art of making containers, sculptures, and other objects of clay. The clay is shaped and then fired or baked at a high temperature to harden it. And look at the images, that's pottery. Next, the school field trip. It is defined as a visit to an outside area of the normal classroom and made by the teacher and students for purposes of first-hand observation. So we're going to talk about our trip to Guatil, our school field trip to Guatil. Next word, language. Language, this is the principal method of human communication, consisting of words used in a structured and conventional way and conveyed by speech, writing, or gesture. Remember that we can communicate ideas from different ways, right? Speaking, writing, or producing gestures. Next, hair or skin color. Well, the natural color of someone's hair or skin. Next one, clothing. The clothes that people like to wear. In this moment, I'm wearing some jeans and a t-shirt, right? A red t-shirt. Okay, very good. Next, cultural diversity. What is cultural diversity? It is the existence of a variety of cultural groups within a society. Cultural groups can share many different characteristics. They include culture, religion, ethnicity, language, nationality, sexual orientation, class, gender, age, disability, or health differences, graphic location, and lots of other themes. Next, we have here the word stereotype. What is a stereotype? Stereotype is an assumption that all members of a certain group of people are the same in some way. For example, all people are boring. This is a stereotype because this is not true. Or young people are disrespectful. This is also a stereotype because it's not true too, right? So, very good. Now, remember that you have to keep that vocabulary in mind in order to help you to write your narrative paragraph. But this is, well, just a part of this, because we are going to need certain sentence frames that we are going to check. So pay attention to them too, please. Okay, well, we're going to use the second conditional. For example, if we had more understanding, we would get along with other people. Get along is that you like a person and then you enjoy time together. Or look at the other example. If we could make people listen to each other, we might see peace in the world. Okay, then we have then the next one, contrasting opinions. When you want to give your opinion and you disagree with something, right? Okay, for example, on the other hand, different cultures are very interesting. Or, for example, all societies have cultural norms. Even though norms influence our values, attitudes, and how we behave, we are often unaware that we are influenced at all. Then we have some phrasal verbs that we can use in our paragraphs. For example, when I hang out with people like me, we often talk down to people not like us. Hang out is to go out with our friends or people like us, right? And we often talk down is that we don't talk to them too much because we believe that maybe they are not going to understand what we mean because this is just our group, right? Or look at the other example. We don't put up with bullying. What put up is? Well, it means that you don't like bullying, right? You disagree with that. And then we have the other example. I get along with all of my classmates. Get along with is that you like all of your classmates and you are maybe friends. Then we have some modals. For example, cliques are small exclusive groups of people that might choose to separate themselves from others. Do you remember the word cliques? Remember that the word cliques refer to different groups that can be made in school, right? Like the nerds, the freaks, etc. And then we have the definition or the word subculture. A subculture, well, here is for having this in a sentence using a modal. A subculture is a group having traits they have to follow that are different from others within the same culture. Okay, very interesting, right? Next. We have also connecting words. These words are used to connect ideas. For example, first, next, then, and finally. Let's say in a paragraph, you can connect one idea to the other using these connecting words. That's why the name is connecting, because it connects ideas. Next one. Here we have what these words are, right? In the case of the characters, well, they are the people or animals or creatures in a story. The plot is the sequence of events that make up a story. And then the setting is where a story or event takes place, the environment. Then, well, remember, well, the paragraph is divided into 3 different parts. Topic sentence. It is usually the first sentence of the paragraph, and it tells the reader what the paragraph is about. So the topic sentence is the main idea, okay? The supporting sentences. The supporting sentences are the sentences that support or give details of the main idea in the topic sentence. So you are going to develop the topic sentence with these supporting sentences, okay? And finally, we have the concluding sentence. In this case, this restates or sums up the main idea. Some signal words or expressions are, for example, as a conclusion, to summarize, or in short. Okay. Okay, so very well. Have you used these sentences before? I'm sure you have. Well, it's time to put everything together. Are you ready? How do you feel about that? Well, some sentence frames that are here and the parts of a narrative paragraph should have, well, we were going to use them, right? So I'm going to use some color coding to identify the different parts in a paragraph. So pay attention to this and also try to analyze if we use the information I presented before. So we have here the color coding. For example, it says, well, the topic sentence is going to be indicated using red. It is the main idea of the paragraph. For example, in this case, it's going to be a visit to an indigenous community, the Chorotegas. Well, supporting sentence number 1 is going to be identified by the color red. It is introduced with the word first, okay? And at the beginning of the sentence, it is going to refer or is about the place. Then we have the supporting sentence number 2. It is introduced with the word next at the beginning of the sentence, and it is about clothes, traditions, and language. So it's going to be identified with the color blue. And then we have the third supporting sentence. This is going to be identified with the color pink. And it is introduced with the word finally at the beginning of the sentence, and is about stereotypes about indigenous people. So you have to pay attention to the paragraph, that it has these parts. And finally, we have the concluding sentence. It is a summary of the main idea, and it is indicated with the signal words as a conclusion. Okay, very good. Okay, what do you think about this? Easy to follow, right? Remember that we have, what do you have to do? Well, you are going to include a topic sentence, 3 supporting ideas, and a concluding sentence, right? Well, let's do your paragraph. Take your time and think about these things. Okay, very good. Now that you wrote your own paragraphs, our next step is to revise and edit, right, the paragraphs. So let's check our rubric I prepared for you, and let's check if you complete each one of the aspects I included in this, right, for your writing. So pay attention to the rubric, please. Okay, well, okay, let's start first with the paragraph. Don't worry, it's okay. In previous lessons, I have learned a lot. Well, it was number 28. I'm sorry. Can we go back to number 28? Well, if we cannot, it's okay, right? Let's start reading the paragraph, and then I'm going to observe that. Okay, guys? Okay, it's okay. So I'm going to present the rubric, and you are going to check in the paragraph. I'm going to present you if we include all the elements that I requested you to do. So let's look at the rubric, please. Very good. Thank you. So it says directions. Check how you have written your narrative paragraph. Check each aspect, then circle yes or no. My paragraph has the correct subject-verb agreement, pronoun and article agreement, capitalization at the beginning of sentences, proper nouns, titles, and abbreviations, sentence sense, word order, text structure, the correct spelling and correct punctuation, periods, commas, etc. Very good. Okay. Okay, now that you know what you have to do in your paragraph, okay, after we check that very well. Excellent, guys. Now that you know what you have to do in your paragraph, let's check the paragraph, okay, in order to see if we include everything. So let's read it together. And then if there is something that is not according to the aspects mentioned before, I want you to, we're going to revise and edit the paragraph. Let's look at that. Very good. It says, In previous lessons, I have learned a lot about cultural diversity and understanding. This makes me recall a very exciting adventure I had when I visited Guatil de Guanacaste with my classmates and teacher, one of the indigenous communities of Costa Rica, the Chorotegas. Well, guys, as you can see, there are some mistakes here. For example, look at the word Costa Rica. We need to capitalize the word Costa Rica, right? Because we use a lowercase letter. Okay, let's go to the next one, please. And well, look at this part here. I corrected the paragraph, right? Costa Rica is using a capitalized letter. Very good. Let's go to the next. Okay, very good. First, I remember the place. As I told you, it is a town in the province of Guanacaste. Even though it is a small town, you can find a soccer field, a soccer school, and a church. Here, we have to capitalize the pronoun I. And also look at the word soccer. This is not well written, right? You need to add a C and then a period at the end. Let's check it. Let's go to the next and see it. Okay, here you have it. I corrected them. Then let's go to the next. Here, what is missing is just at the beginning, we didn't use an introductory word, a transition word, and the word language is using capitalization. So we have to lowercase that, okay? Very good, guys, excellent. Today we learned a lot about that. It was very nice to have you here. Thank you, bye-bye. See you next week. I'm teacher Evelyn. Bye.